Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Friday, the 3rd of July, 2026. Looking at the synoptic to begin with for midday UTC, you can see this area of high pressure to the southwest of the UK there, bringing in some very slack isobars and clear air. So we can expect typical high pressure conditions continuing with the run of hot weather. Maybe a little bit of top cover associated with this warm front approaching from the west, but if anything, very, very thin. So we should have a very pleasant light wind, blue thermic day. Looking on the cloud radar, a little bit more cloud than that would indicate. If we just refresh that there, it does show a fair bit of cloud out associated with that front. The bulk of any cloud is up to the north and quite a lot of wave in Scotland, but in our area here, some fairly thin cirrus with a line a little bit further to the south there, but typically blue skies. As you can imagine, no rain on the radar associated with that, except on the edge of that front there. And we'll refrain from running through the rain prediction. We're not expecting any rain locally for us today. The TAF Odium, they've got out this morning, 270 degrees, 3 knots for the wind, 10-kilometer visibility and few clouds at 3,000 feet. And Farnborough there, TAF showing 260 degrees, 4 knots with the wind there. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers and few at 4,500 feet. Winds aloft to the south of us, ranging from south-southeasterly all the way around to northwesterly, and no more than 5 to 10 knots, so very light indeed. To the north of us, a little bit more consistent with a west-southwesterly around 10 to 15 knots at flying height. Surface wind, windy here at 10 o'clock, showing a very, very gentle northwesterly flow from the north there across the airfield. But later in the day, coming around a bit more to the west and eventually probably southwesterly. Met Office local forecasts showing very, very light winds there, beginning around about 3 knots and later in about 2 to 3 o'clock this afternoon, increasing in strength up to around about 10, gusting 18 at 6 o'clock this evening. Very, very high UV at 1 o'clock today, a warning of 8, so do take care and hydrate and use plenty of sun cream. GFS showing a temperature of about 24 degrees in the warmest part of the day, with a dew point of 8. And presently we're up now to just under 16 degrees, 15.7 here at Lasham with a dew point of 9.8. That is the view on the south side. Looking to the west, that sort of slightly milky top cover, or very, very thin cirrus there in actual fact. Seen on the picture, but nothing of great significance. Shouldn't really impact the heating very much. The cross section here on SkySight showing a fairly late start, actually going properly around about 1 to 2 o'clock, and then a sort of 4 or 5 hour soaring window. Up until about 6 o'clock, where we have a fairly significant drop off, but potentially it's a little soarable up to around 6,000 feet here at Lasham. Looking at the top Metier, their thermal map, they're showing soarable from about 9 o'clock to 1,000 meters already, so 3,000 feet by 10, so it's slightly in contradiction to what SkySight was suggesting. We're showing quite a lot of cloud up to the north. There's some cumulus around the Midlands, but never really reaching us, remaining blue in our area for the bulk of the day, and not seeing any defined cumulus on those charts, except a very, very small patch there at about 6 o'clock this evening. NOTAMs, nothing of great significance. We have the typical Fairford TMZ. We've also got the restricted areas for Silverstone, both the temporary ATZ and the temporary restricted areas. If you are flying cross country, we do recommend that you self-brief. We'll move on now to glider bookings. Just the one K21 booked flying today and a further 2 on the 5-day courses. There's K13 booked, as well as a K13 on the casual list and a K13 for trial lessons. So we should have all three flying today. There is some single-seater availability and just the one on the casuals at the moment. So if there are any instructors around that would be willing to help, that would be greatly appreciated. Two movements expected today. Initially 12:30 local. That's an A319 departing. That's to be confirmed later in the day. And then a hybrid King Air movement at 1400 local. That will unfortunately require us to clear the runway. Reminder about the Boeing Wave expedition. We're getting a little bit closer now, so make sure you get your name down before the spaces book up. Any questions to myself, Ron, or Barry? So in summary, we have a dominant high pressure once again, a northwesterly flow across the airfield to begin, coming round to westerly later in the day. We'll operate runway 27 with cables on the south side. And as always, do not land or taxi across the disused runways shown here in red. Here's our airfield setup to finish, winching from the south of the main runway area towing club and north of the centre line. Grid if required in its usual place there, north side grass and self launches single file down the Parry track here. That's all for me this morning. We'll see you out very shortly. Let's make the most of the nice weather. Have a good day. Thank you.